Today's episode is going to be super helpful if you want to generate more leads and clients in your business. And it comes on the back end of a development that we've had inside our agency, working with some super niche clients in the last couple of months, which forced us into a strategy that we hadn't looked into, but we'd been recommended it many times over the years, but I just didn't trust it enough. So I'm going to unpack that in today's conversation. But before we get started, a quick story. I was going to record this episode a couple of hours ago and I got back from my morning run. My wife Paula is currently over in Athens. She's overseas setting up some property over there. So I'm solo parenting our son Bailey at the moment, and while she's been away, he's discovered how to escape his bedroom at night, which we have a little child gate there for safety reasons. So I would put him to bed, he'd scale the gate, come downstairs, find me, all proud of himself, and I was proud of him too because it's a big milestone. But the challenge was he wasn't going to sleep, he'd just keep coming out and repeating the cycle. So we've had some wild nights, and I decided from the urging of Paula to solve the problem by getting a bigger gate. And I ordered it, next day delivery, got back from my run, the gate's sitting there, really excited, and then I go to put it in the doorway and realized that I didn't measure it. I just looked for a really tall gate online and it doesn't fit. It's far too wide. So I had to go online, find a store that had a gate with the right width dimensions, head out and get that so we can solve this late night partying problem. So 2 hours of my life, but should get some quality sleep tonight because he's zonked from repeat nights of pushing the envelope in how late he's been willing to stay up. And my beautiful wife's been able to avoid all that over in the Athens summer sunshine. Back to the content marketing, just a little peek inside my personal life for you. So we've done some episodes and we've talked about lead generation, using content and copywriting, which all comes into play when you want to generate new clients for your business. And the great thing about copywriting is it is a form of content. And what's happened in the last month, a client approached us and I didn't know if we could help after being in the agency space for 13 years. This was one I've never dealt with, the niche that they're in, and I won't disclose what it is. But they were city specific and the problem they solved would be only a very small percentage of the population. And I said, well, here's the strategy that I recommend. Go speak to some other people. We haven't worked in this space before, so I can't tell you if it's going to work or not. And they came back and said, look, we really want you to do it. We give it a shot. And I said, all right, we'll give it a shot. And we'd been urged by a few people to do what's called open targeting on Facebook. And you might be familiar with that. And we've always used interest-based or behavior-based targeting to help direct Facebook on who to show advertisements to. But as it's become more sophisticated, it knows more and more about its users and people on the platform, its AI can place the advertisement in front of the right person with the right intent. So depending on what the goal of the ad is, sometimes it's just to watch a video, it could be engagement, it might be to message your business page, it might be to fill out a lead form, go to a website, whatever you tell Facebook your goal is, it's going to show the ads to people who are most likely to act on that goal based on what you've written copy-wise in your ad and what the offer is. And I've always been reluctant to test this open targeting because I'm like, how can Facebook be that good? And I finally surrendered to it with this very niche client, being skeptical, thinking we're not going to be able to get results. And within the first 24 hours, we had generated 4 consultations. This is phone numbers, emails, the works in their city. So because it was city specific, we're talking about one very small area in Victoria, Australia, with a targeted niche offer that might only be applicable to a very small percentage of that population. I was like, geez, how's this going to work? And that's been repeated multiple days in a row now. And we wrote a secondary offer, which was for, again, I'll talk about this offer because it's a bit different, about a property that they were looking to have people come and stay in for a very specific support service. And again, I was like, how is this going to work? And within the first 24 hours, we got multiple applicants that were a fit, that had submitted all their contact details, city, name, email, phone. And I was just blown away. And I've gone, for so long, I've been hesitant to let Facebook do the heavy lifting for us. I've always wanted to direct it. But what I realized is you're actually limiting Facebook when you set up ads and you start to narrow it down. Because when you narrow it down, it's a much smaller pool of users for Facebook to show advertisements to. So they got less to work with. Whereas if you open it up to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, it can much easily find who's going to be the most appropriate to take the action that you want on the advertisement. So if you're someone that is looking to generate leads for your business, test drive open targeting, where you literally just put in the location of your ideal clients, the age range, and pretty much leave it at that unless you need to have gender specific qualities in there as well. And like I said, I'm blown away at how successful this has been. And if you're not new to Facebook advertising, you might have been doing this for a long time and going, I can't believe you're just talking about this now. But what's really exciting is you don't need to go into all this depth with trying to set up this creative targeting when you're doing cold advertising. And just to clarify, we've spoken about retargeting, which is a very different setup where you're putting offers in front of people that have been directly engaging with your business. There's a lot more complexity in setting something like that up. But if you're just doing a cold ad with an offer to an audience that doesn't know you, or pushing out content to build a retargeting audience, it's simple. You don't have to put in any extra details. You can just write a compelling ad or a great piece of content and let Facebook do the rest, which I'm extremely excited by. So we'll quickly brush on how to write ads and create ads that are going to perform well, so you can help Facebook direct it to the right audience and get you the really solid conversions based on what your goal and objective is. So the easiest thing to do is to start with your newsfeed and just to scroll and look at ads that already have lots of engagement, likes, and reactions on it, because chances are that advertiser's been running that ad for a very, very long time, usually meaning that it's working for them. And just have a look at how they've structured that ad in terms of the copy, the visuals, and so forth, and model and duplicate success if you're starting from scratch. And of course, just rewrite it in a way that caters to the services and solutions that you offer. AI can be great for copywriting for advertising. As you know, I'm a little bit different with how I approach it with content because of the originality factor. But when it comes to writing compelling ad copy, emails, landing pages, things of that nature, I think AI is a great shortcut, and you can just direct it to get a really good output that's compelling and use that and test it in advertising. That's the main thing to mention. With advertising, it's all test and measure. You write something that you think is going to work, you set it up, you run it, and then you wait to get the feedback. And then if it's working, you can go harder at it if you want to, or if it's not working, you give it enough time and then you make the necessary adjustments. And if you want a little bit of structure or framework for writing high converting ad copy, that's always worked well for us. You've got your hook, you've got the 3 to 5 problems that the offer solves, then you've got your CTA, which is your call to action, which directs the person reading the advertisement what to do next. So you send a message, fill in the lead form, click the link to go to the web page. If you follow that very simplistic framework, that's always converted extremely well in just about any industry we've advertised for as an agency. So the takeaway of today's episode is, if you want to generate leads from a cold audience, so we're putting retargeting and those steps to the side for a moment here, or you want to build a retargeting audience by pushing your content out, use the open targeting features and let Facebook do the work. So all you need to do is put the location in, the age range, and Facebook will do the rest. And as long as you write that compelling offer and do that part right, you should find very quickly within the first 4 days that Facebook's able to generate the goal of the campaign, whether that's new leads, video views, messages, or whatever it is. So if you've got an offer, take it out to a cold audience, test that very simplistic approach, and check in and let me know how it goes.